there.
What's back there? What's behind there?
It's actually I'm in my bedroom, but I built a studio, and it's really cool. But you're not supposed to work where you sleep. But however, this divider is supposed to separate that mentality.
Listen, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm just in my virtual office.
Hold on, I gotta fix the. I do apologize. I'm a little delayed and slow right now. And this
Bro,
is
totally good. Sorry, I have three boys. I'm sorry, that just came out of nowhere. The whole bro thing. My 13-year-old is like, I think he says that I'm like, no, I'm mom. I'm not.
do I have that look like
I
hey like the bro kind of thing?
I feel like, yeah, that happened. I think you pulled that out of me.
Okay, well, good, yeah. All right, hell yes. Okay, I don't know where I'm trying to put you here, and why is this brighter than normal? I didn't do anything
People wish they
different.
would put me in their pocket.
Say again?
Many people wish they would put me in their pocket. And then it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. I'm like, well, based on what's going on for you, you should pause with a purpose.
Oh, now it's too dark. What is it?
Observe, don't absorb. I always say that.
Yeah, I have no clue what happened to this light. Ugh. This is not.
No, I looked at my phone. That was a bad decision. Happy Friday. Do you go by
Yes.
Gregory? What do you
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Gregory's fine. Whatever you want to call me.
Bro,
Asshole, fuckface. I mean, long as it's relevant to the situation. But if it's random, then that's just disrespectful.
I try to keep things relatable.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll be fine.
Oh, good. I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm gonna accept it for what it is. But no, I came across your profile, and one thing that I really like that you do is that you always end your post with a question. And
Mm.
that, yes. So like what major like mindset challenge have you faced for yourself?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
gosh.
damn, that was
Like
unexpected.
today, because I'm pretty present-minded.
Mhm.
Uh, gosh,
That's a good.
my biggest mindset challenge today is how can I empower more people? That's always the number one question for me.
Mhm.
My background was ministry and journalism, by the way, so
Beautiful.
for coaching, and I kind of pulled that into coaching. So that's always my number one question, because what I developed, my strategies, the mindset strategies I developed in my programs, I use
Mhm.
to keep myself laser focused, not be
Mhm.
distracted by the trees and see the path between the trees. So the number one mindset challenge I'm facing is typically that, although it is today, I'd also say, how can I get motivated enough to finish all the laundry that's sitting downstairs? That's probably the second
Mhm.
challenge for today.
Interesting. All right. So what I've noticed that the things that we specialize in is something that we've always struggled with ourselves. So that's the idea. Hey, maybe somebody else is struggling with this. I mean, is that what you've noticed in your line of work, who you've encountered?
Well, what I would say, no, actually. And
Good.
here's why. So there are a lot of coaches out there, right? Aren't
Hmm.
there? A ton of them. Let's see.
Hmm. Yeah.
I work with a lot of them, actually. But I noticed
Goo.
there are a lot of people who will start to build their brand on their own personal story. And then they develop solutions based on that specific problem. And that's maybe the first level of reaching
Hmm.
out to new people and ideal clients. But
Hmm.
um, I say you should really build upon the solution. Like I got Zoom divorced during COVID. I could have become a divorce coach, right? But that was definitely not the plan. What I focused on was the transformation of entrepreneurship. Is it the Zoom divorce part that really got you?
Yeah,
That,
exactly. So I mentioned it in an episode. I think it was with Vernon Brown. I'm like, I can only imagine how many people are going through divorce with them, like being stuck at home. Then they realize, who the fuck am I married to? Because after everything that's happening, you're so busy, and this is what it's relatable to. Like, we're so busy with our job that we invest our time into it, and we don't realize the problems we have. I've noticed that when I was active duty. Like, the moment I stopped working, I started feeling pain. Well, then at COVID, the moment you stop working, who the fuck am I married to?
Well, exactly. It's like once you become intentional, you
Mhm,
start to actually see what you're making decisions on. I always say everything's about direction, decisions, and destinations. And
mhm.
what the reinvention evolution of 2020, which is what I call it at this point,
Yes.
did for people is just made them extremely self-aware where they hadn't been. They'd been living under the influence, right? Of work, circumstances, environment, situations, the
Mhm,
never-ending to-do list, which doesn't end until we're dead, or we have
mhm.
nothing in front of us to do. So
True.
I think it absolutely hit a new level of self-awareness for most people. And they said, who is this? And then who am I? And
Yes.
what am I even doing?
Yes. And when we gotten a taste of that, just becoming aware of that we were settling. I mean, like we got the job we wanted and we wanted to have that marriage, that family, to build that life milestone that we essentially just took whoever would meet those specific needs to have that goal met, that we didn't take into account what our needs were other than the basic primitive needs versus like individual needs, like feeling validated, understood, appreciated for the things and then the efforts that we give out to the people that we love and hopefully reciprocated back.
Yeah. My favorite book is Men Are Clams, Women Are Crowbars, personally.
I never
Um,
heard of it.
yeah. It's the shorter, funnier version of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
typically what I suggest when it comes to relationships. Oftentimes, with the people that I end up working with and entrepreneurs, it's like I'm a life business coach versus a business life coach.
Mhm.
And so I'll
I
make
like that.
recommendations like that. Men are clams, women are crowbars. I'm like, understand how you can communicate effectively. It's written by a male psychologist. Really great read. But
Mm.
also choosing your significant other or spouse, it shouldn't be based on needing or wanting that validation from somebody else. You should be able to
Shouldn't. Yeah.
validate yourself. So once when actually I got the best advice ever from my parents. They've been married 46 years. And so when we go through those relationship struggles or trials, they were going through therapy and with a male psychologist. And the psychologist actually told my mom, she said, you can leave your husband when you become the best version of yourself you absolutely ever can. And I was like, that's
It's
great advice.
yeah.
And so I took that to heart. And so truthfully, if anyone's thinking about making a move, and I've encouraged friends because during that time frame, during the COVID days, a lot of people were saying, I just want out. I'm uncomfortable,
Mhm.
uncomfortable. And the truth is, well, it's not about comfort. If you're seeking out comfort, you will never find it. It will never be enough. And you really have to go back into yourself and say, how can I self-actualize? How can I fuel my emotional, spiritual, intellectual, and physical self?
Mhm.
And then, oh, let me look at this relationship with another person. That's my 2 cents. I mean,
No, yeah, I like that. Like, then like, I'd rather go a little step deeper. Like, when the people, for me, when I left, like, even though it was an emotionally abusive relationship, I mean, you imagine a guy in the military who is in an emotionally abusive relationship, what that would look like. To me, I didn't understand what was happening because I was never under coercion or experienced that kind of manipulation before, that I was so used to this kind of pressure
Mhm.
from the duress that I suffered in the army that it was not a big deal like day to day. But if you're taking that beating daily for like 3 years, I mean, the next thing you know, you've broken down. You're like, what the fuck happened? And it's almost like an addiction. Like when I've gotten away, yes, I still miss and love that person, but every time I'm with that person, it's unhealthy. It's the same. It's nothing but lies, and it that reality that I thought was reality was not reality.
Absolutely. Well, it builds a subconscious program for
Mhm,
us. Any situation that we're in or any relationship, it builds a subconscious program. And everyone talks about imposter syndrome. I
mhm,
just say when you practice being disloyal to your authentic self enough through your actions, or just saying no when you want to say yes, or saying yes when you mean no, right? You
Hmm.
practice those disloyalties to who you really are enough, you forget who you are. And so any level of duress or trauma like you went through, it starts to become and feel normal.
Hmm. Yes, and that could be associated with social upbringings, what's been passed on to me that I've experienced as normal, and what could be reoccurring patterns of me trying to address the very issue that links to these reoccurring patterns for me to heal. But I mean, you said authenticity, authentic self. I mean, what's your definition of that?
Total and complete alignment. Alignment means, the simplest way I can describe it is when you are doing all the things to take care of your four selves. And that's what I talk about in all my programs. I'm like, you do have a spiritual component to who you are.
Mhm.
I didn't put any context with that. I didn't label it, but you do have a spiritual component because we're all energy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Church on Sunday, or whether you go and meditate and feel connected to nature. We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Mhm.
And then you have to take care of your emotional self, which means you want to practice a level of self-awareness to get to self-direction, because self-awareness is what most of us are lacking. We're lacking that internal dialogue. Many of us are having extrinsic monologues, which make us miserable. Then you want to be
Mhm.
taking care of your physical self. And, coming from a military background, understanding how important self-discipline is to knowing who we are and to cultivating character and integrity.
Mhm.
It's so important. So taking care of our physical selves, we don't give that enough credit in today's day and age. Like, get out, do something physical, move your body, and take care of your house, right?
Mhm.
Physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, learning something new for the sake of learning something new that's out of our norm. I love, have you ever heard of the intellectual devotional?
No, have not.
Okay. So it's a
Sounds
like,
like servant leadership or something.
well, it's actually a daily book of the seven tip from the seven fields of knowledge. And
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
it because they'll read about something that you wouldn't otherwise read about. Because in business, it's like, oh, business growth, AI, branding, sales,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
with this, it's like I'm reading about blood cells, I'm reading about Islam, I'm reading about
Oh, that
all these
sounds nice.
different, like, it's refreshing.
That's what I like. Yeah.
You might like that book.
Yes. I'm gonna add it to the show notes and go look for it and go buy it because I
Yeah,
need it.
try it.
But I want to say, let's go back because I feel like these five things, no, four? No, four, yeah. I feel like there has to be one in order for the four to happen. And I feel like the mental has to be in line, but otherwise the other three just won't come if you're not addressing the very mental thing. And to go even deeper that to understand it, yeah, we have these thoughts that are occurring, and that's the ego. And that ego, it reflects the conscious scheme that we are reflecting out to the world, and whatever that conscious scheme can be, it could be from our social upbringing, it could be what this conversation is entailing right now, to a happy, loving, compassionate outlook towards life. And that all depends on your awareness level to see the gaps in between those running thoughts. And when you have that ability, then you're able to elevate yourself to push in the direction that whatever you want to go in life, to go after those additional three things, something like that.
I completely agree. And here's why I'll break it down. I understand completely what you said. Self-awareness is something that we're lacking in our culture because we live in a place where we live under the influence of
Yes.
circumstances, environment, situations, distraction, the mindless scroll, the constant need to become comfortable. And
Hmm.
it's a desire, because our society doesn't push us to say, hey, no, you need to become more and better. Hey, you need to focus on self-actualization. Hey, are you enlarging your spiritual life? We don't have a culture that says any of those things. We have a culture that says, oh, are you happy? Are you
Fuck
comfortable?
no, we're not happy.
No, and we're getting less and less and less happy because
Yeah.
we are searching for what we think will give us meaning. I just referenced Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning.
Oh, I've read that. That's a good book.
So
Yes.
good. Because
Yeah.
when we go back to the basics of who we are and just cut out the noise and get back into, okay, self-awareness. I give my kids this exercise, by the way. I have three sweet boys.
Mhm.
Give them the brain dump. And it's a 2-minute writing exercise. And I don't give them any other instructions other than just start writing your headspace out on paper. And then I ask them, what did you notice about yourself? And I gave my boys this exercise, even when everyone that I work with does this exercise. And when they were too young to write, I would tell them to draw a picture. But here's the thing, it's because in our culture right now, we're living under this duress of distraction, and we're not seeing it as that. And so we are creating all of our issues mentally, I would say most of them, just by these not labeling distraction as a actual mental illness, so that we can give action steps to break free from it and get into self-discipline, self-control, self-actualization, and to actually become better humans, where we can feel fully and then self-direct.
So that's really interesting. There's a couple things I want to address and unpack. I mean, first, what do we, is it the culture? Look, so the culture that we're living in right now, we're adapting. We're trying to participate in this evolution. We're trying to do our best, but there's a lot of forces that are pushing us in different directions. And I'm trying to understand is what is the mindset that we need to continue this, to participate in this level of evolution that we're trying to get to be successful, to be happy. What is the definition of being happy? Do we even know what that is?
From my experience and from the people that I've worked with, happiness has to do mostly with the ability to be completely intentional. Intentionality is what we really crave, to be totally present and aware, to not have the crazy shitstorm in our headspace, right?
Right now, I have that.
You should do a brain dump after this.
Yeah.
But to really be able to have that calm amidst the chaos and the storm, which is life all the time. Peace of mind is really what people are craving the most. Why do you think we go to the scroll? Why do you think we try to go to these mindless activities? It's because that peace of mind, that intentionality is really what we crave the most. And that is the starting point for happiness. In terms of conversational or relational peace, it starts with, my favorite quote is by Aristotle, because it explains it all. It says, the mark of an educated mind is the ability to entertain a thought without accepting it.
That's nice. I like that.
Right? We live in a place where we are constantly absorbing versus observing. I always say observe, don't absorb. In a culture or conversations or interactions, we're constantly in a place where we just feel like we don't have skin, right? And we have to acknowledge something as, this is my truth. This is my truth. Is this my truth? Right? We're no longer asking questions of ourselves or other people. We're just giving statements and beliefs and practicing no internal dialogue, which will get us to that peace of mind, which will get us to better relationships with one another.
Mm. So what you're saying is we have to establish a universal understanding of a universal understanding to question the reality that we are perceiving and existing in. And that being said, of course, the mind is like a sponge. It's going to absorb regardless, but having a filter, a system that's set up for you to discern information that's coming in and what the ego is telling you. And like, oh God, anxiety is coming because you're uncomfortable. No, that's a normal thing. We all have that right now. Or when you start to mindlessly scroll and you come across that mean that you're just like sitting like this, like all hunched over, like, what do I do? Like, I have shit to do and I'm just sitting here like this. And it makes no sense that it's spot on accurate. Like, what would you suggest that universal kind of standard look like?
Well, I think it's also a combination of the self-awareness, but also doing what has worked. Doing what has worked logically throughout the history for all humankind.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm a wife and a mother. By the way, I met my husband in Zoom business networking. Can't even make this up. So what what I find that starts to cultivate that forming the human consciousness and the mind is much simpler than we make it. Cutting away at the distraction, um,
Hmm.
making sure to practice self-discipline, practice principled living, and look at what those principles are. I personally think scripture, I actually suggest scripture to my atheist friends, my agnostic friends, and everyone, because it has such good principles to live by that actually help a culture. Like Proverbs, for example. I
Yes.
also like the dinner table conversation, like going back to what works. I love G.K. Chesterton's writings. They used to be in the normal newspaper
Hmm.
in the early 1900s, but talks specifically about the foundation of a culture. And it's like it's God and family has proven to start to create those inherent invisible structures for people to start to practice integrity and principled living, where they have some sort of anchor to an ethical compass or morality that can continue to fuel the culture.
Okay, I like that. I don't want to go another step further. I want you to just give us a little snapshot about your background, so for our audience to get to know you a little bit.
All right. Well, my name is Bridget Hom,
Hmm.
and I, gosh, I actually had a pretty great childhood. I'm the oldest of four siblings, two brothers, one sister. Irish Italian background, so my dinner table conversations, they were laughing, crying, angry, but at the end, it all worked out. Went to college. I was studying and doing my master's in Catholic theology at Notre Dame. Once upon a time.
Wow,
And
okay.
what were you going to say?
No, it's like that's interesting. I like that.
I
Yeah.
love swing dancing. I'm an avid salsa dancer, swing dancer. I love dance. I also worship lead for something called Recovery Church Movement. I've been in
Hmm.
recovery for 18 years. Um,
Recovery in what? Recovering from what? I don't.
Alcohol.
That's is that the way? I don't know if that's the right
How
way
do
to
you
say
ask that? No, I've actually, no, I'm in recovery, in Alcoholics Anonymous.
it.
Um,
Okay.
I'm pretty public about that. I've done a podcast on the Sober Diaries.
Okay.
So, and then I was actually during my 20s, I had a pretty bougie lifestyle, traveled the world, had a couple nannies. I'm just being real, just,
Yeah.
and I had three boys, three beautiful boys, and then got Zoom divorced from COVID. And, and then that's really when things started to shift. And that's why we're here, because I moved out of my big, beautiful home, moved into an
Hmm.
apartment with three boys, and then virtual school happened. And then my job in the seniors industry disappeared. So Bridge to Freedom Coaching was fully launched after I had only three clients into the virtual world. Um, and that's been pretty phenomenal, because entrepreneurship is a transformation I was talking about. I'm
Hmm.
not a course coach. I turned into an entrepreneurship and business leader coach, because that was the transformation. And so I've gotten to coach hundreds and influence thousands through the programs that I created. Well, I say business is like flying a plane while you're building it. And that's what's been happening for the past 3 years. It's been pretty awesome.
I like that, or what you just said there. I think that's. I have another way of framing it, and it's like looking at a position. It's a developmental role. We never will always live up to that job description, but the question or the expectation you have to have inside yourself is, are you able to meet that job expectation or description at one point and then continue to develop? Because anybody can do anybody's job, but wanting to do it versus just it's you versus wanting. I fucked that up, but you know what I'm saying.
Totally fine. I always say to everyone, this is a space of radical self-acceptance. Okay.
Hmm.
Whatever. It's fine. It's the truth is, there are many people who do jobs, right? There are many coaches, there are many people who there are many podcasters. It's about alignment. It's about alignment. It's about an even exchange of energy, especially when it comes to coaching. It's an
Hmm.
even exchange of energy. It's not about sales. It's not about anything of that nature. It's about that even exchange of energy that you create with other people and they're in alignment with. I don't even
So
know if
with,
that.
no, it's all good. It's all good. I'm having this like gray moment here, and I don't know why I'm having that. But with who you've helped, what's something that our audience, Jesus,
Our audience,
yeah, I swear I'm not drunk or anything. I'm just, I guess I'm a little tired. I don't know, but
you need some salt.
yes, that definitely, literally, I've been. Ooh, all right. Before we go to the question I was about to ask you, let's talk shop here for a second. When I'm on when I'm doing work on the computer, doing shit with my RSS feeds, trying to get episodes published to every platform I can do, like it's a hard, like manual labor process. Put it on Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and then publish, and then blog post, and then video, and then create custom graphics. That's the shit that I got to do. And then the next thing you know, it's been like 2 days. You're just grinding, and then you lose yourself. So, what would you tell to people who want to establish balance between lurk, work life, and personal life?
The great thing is that the brain already understands what you said, even if you say it wrong, even with missing letters, right? It's so awesome. So our audience,
Yes, and I just saw that on a TV show. Dang it, I can't even think of the name, but it'll hit me here in a second.
it's going to resurface. But what I would say if you're listening right now, there's no such thing as time management. There's only task management and mind management. And so what you want to be able to do, if you want to take ownership of that, first of all, in entrepreneurship, I always say establish your hours of operation. For employees, they have their employer establish their hours of operation, but as an entrepreneur, you have to have the same so that you can give yourself the opportunity to be intentional for business growth and intentional with having a romance with your own life, right? The four selves come back out. So what I always say, if you want to take ownership of your headspace, you can't alternate like, oh, what time is it? What time is it? Right? You'll just focus for 2 days working and you're like, I'm starving. I'm hungry and I hate everyone. No one call me, right? I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
my man cave and eat food. Okay. That's the happy moment, right? That's survival. We don't need to do that anymore. So the first thing I ask people if they think they can multitask is I say, count 1 to 10 as fast as possible. And then say A to G as fast as possible. Now alternate and see how slow. And you can't even get like A1, B2, C3, right? It takes you longer. So it's impossible to multitask. So what I recommend is setting a timer because your brain can only focus on one thing at a time and setting it for 30 minutes. And you will find that you're extremely productive when you no longer feel this obligation to keep track of time. That's how I wrote my book in 4 weeks. My book stuck on ready. I literally just went nose to the grindstone. Okay, 30 minutes. All right. Do I want to keep writing? I'll set another 30-minute timer. Do I want to go do laundry or other things? I'm going to set a 30-minute timer for that. And so when you're able to do that, you become extremely productive, proactive, and actually more profitable because you're much more aware of like, I can do this for 30 minutes. I can do anything for 30 minutes.
Beautiful. I mean, that is spot on. I want to backtrack, but before we go there, what is your thought process with what do you think about this 3 second world we're living in? When we try to promote ourselves on whatever social media we're trying to promote, we have 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention. What's your approach to getting noticed as a marketing view?
Well, it's all stems from the foundation of being the empowerment generator. So the philosophy that I teach in my programs is becoming the empowerment generator. So you energetically, I actually had one of my clients take a picture of themselves. And I said, okay, take a picture of yourself. Show me the headshot. They showed me. And I said, now in your mind, I want you to think that that person who's taking the picture is paying you $1 million. I'll take the picture. And then I said, okay, I'll take a picture again. And that person in front of you, you have just transformed their life and they're taking a picture of you. Now, if you look at all three of those pictures, it's an absolute different energy because 90% of our communication is nonverbal. If you ever notice when you're watching these 3-second videos, the ones that you stick around with are the ones that make you feel a certain way, because there's still transference of positive and negative energy.
Yes. Oh my God. And then you just solved a huge problem for me. Like taking pictures, I cannot take a oh, so all right, so this is the crazy thing. So when I was in the active duty, they put me on this it's you would not believe it. Like it's like a we called it this fat kid program. I was weightlifting a lot. Like I could squat like 1,000 pounds. I was deadlifting just as much, bench pressing, and I broke tape and height and weight because the weight their standards are just old fashioned. They had to like tape your neck, your waist, and then meet this unrealistic standard. So they put me on this program, and I was just shredded by the time it was done. Like, yeah, you barely passed the tape, but they had a bod pod, and I jumped in there, and I'm like, it's like 14 to 13% body weight, and I'm like, are fat?
Yeah, yeah.
They were blown away. It's like we need to address this. But anyways, I was doing this competition over at Five Star, and I would show up every 2 weeks to do a weigh-in, and I won $300 over there. And they were giving me a check, and they wanted to take my picture. I could not smile. Like I tried, I could not
Yep.
do it, and I wish I had something that could have helped. Because like you just won $300, you're not going to smile. I'm like, I'm happy. Please give me the money.
Is me happy? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I tell people all the time, because when I teach video creation or content
Mm.
creation, I said, you have to have a thought in your mind's eye of the one person who's watching your video. Okay, first of all, it's not a crowd. You're not speaking a public speaker in front of a crowd of thousands. You're speaking to the one person who's probably sitting alone, watching on their phone with potentially the sound off, and they're literally just absorbing your energy. So you have to make sure that first 3 seconds you're thinking about that person. If you're money motivated, think about the $1 million you're getting. If you're relationship oriented, then you think about that person is receiving transformation from this video. So you always are selling people your mindset.
Oh shit. So it's like projection, like having that understanding that we're projecting our thoughts. So if we want them to receive what we want, then we need to think that they're giving that to us. Thus, it's automatically reciprocated back.
Yes. And the same thing is eye contact. I always tell people, don't create any videos if you can't create eye contact with your audience. Because
Oh,
it's like we don't feel
wow.
looked at.
Hi. Yeah. I got dual monitors, so it's like everywhere, and then the camera's there. So now it's like, hello, I'll just move it to this way. I can't do it. I got to readjust.
We're all constantly improving. But what you notice, like when someone makes eye contact with you, you can feel it. But if someone just looks a little off to the other side, you no longer feel connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so that we forget in video those normal things. Like I'll use hand motions on purpose because I'm not like this, you know?
Mm.
And then we start to talk in such a way where it's not even human. We start to talk like bots. That's why it's so important to have it's like I get on camera, I'm like, hi, my name's Bridget Hom. It's like, no. Hey, I'm Bridget Hom. Like I'm looking at you and being like,
Mm.
what's going on for you? I'm already thinking what I believe you deserve, you know? And so
Yes.
energy. Yep. It's
And
kind of
then
like,
and that video kind of scares the shit out of you. Is like my camera on, and you can see me. Like, what the fuck?
I have been told, actually, it was really funny on TikTok and LinkedIn. This guy's like, I feel like you're looking into my soul and it's creeping me out. And I just put like a laugh face because I think that's funny.
Yeah. It's also a good icebreaker.
I think I'm like, listen, I'm going to send more videos.
Yeah, like keep liking them, dude. Just keep doing that for us. Yes. So, what's some good advice you could give to our audience who are in this leadership position that want to establish something like right now within themselves? Like, what's just a piece of thing you can just throw around?
Well, leadership means being worthy of being followed, to me. So being a true leader means being worthy of being followed. And that means obviously being willing to do everything that your team can do, but also being willing to practice that self-awareness and focus on, say, hey, this is what I'm working on. You know, when I was building teams once upon a time for ministry, but it's the same concept. I was building teams. I needed people to take ownership of themselves, of their thought processes and their actions, right?
Mhm.
And so what I did was I empowered them based on their best skill set. So always be quick to acknowledge what their best skill set is, and then teach them how to recognize that in the other person in front of
Ooh.
um, because it's no longer about like what we choose to define, or there's so many different things right now in society that we're always looking to define ourselves, right?
Yes.
So I say, why don't you define yourself by your best skill set? Like, I'm a powerful influencer, a master connector, and a master relationship builder. Anywhere you put me, I'm going to show up in one of those three categories in my marriage, with my coaching. If I'm at a grocery store, it doesn't even matter. I'm going to show up influencing your ways of thinking, being, and doing. Going to build rapport with you, something like that. So everyone has that. And so once
Mm.
we cultivate that ability to call people into like, this is your best self, I'm going to continue to affirm that for you
Mhm.
and call you to a higher level. And then I want you to tell other people how to do this. And practice, like I said, entertaining thoughts without accepting it, asking more questions than giving statements. So being a part of a part in leadership, but also um, leading by example is huge.
Yes. Harnessing or so honing in on our strength. Why not our weaknesses?
Because if we know our weaknesses, what is the goal in calling someone out on those? What is the goal in calling someone out on those? I mean, really truthfully, you always still have to circle back around on the strengths. If you're
Hmm.
going to get a job done, right? In the military, are you going to focus on the weakness? If you have to, what is the goal? You always have to focus on what is the goal. So in a work environment, focusing on somebody's weakness, they have to be extremely, well, ready to receive that. And it takes a higher level of self-awareness. In
Mm.
many cultures, in company cultures, corporate cultures, we're not in a place to be able to establish that kind of emotional intelligence or intimacy with staff to talk about those weaknesses in a constructive way where we can get people to focus back in on their strengths.
I want to go deeper. So we are only as fast as our slowest man in the military. If we are on a mission and we have one guy that is just lagging and just straight, just at the very back, when we are just as fast as that person.
Mm.
So, I mean, offering constructive criticism, what does that look like? And how do we actually understand it's constructive criticism and not projection?
Great question. Well, you ask questions.
Go
What
on.
what's stopping you? Do you want to slow us down? What is your next move? Do you see the whole picture? Because the only way to get inside someone's head, which is the only place that you have to start to change, is by asking them a question to plug into them. I created something called the rules of engagement. And it's how to have conversations with people who are not like-minded, or you need to get them to see a point, or you need to protect your own sanity and serenity. So I say the first rule of engagement is always pause with a purpose. Because if you're going to jump into a reaction and be like, you're freaking slow, that's not going to get you to what is the goal. Okay. I coach my children. I have 3 boys, right? So then you
Yeah.
step into logic. You're like, what do I actually want to say to this person? And then you speak the truth when there may be conflict present, or you speak your truth when there's no conflict present. However, I will note this, based on the scenario that you gave me in the military, um, that's a different scenario because you need quick action. There is no room for feelings aren't your friends.
Mm.
Feelings aren't your friends. So they already knew that. They knew that signing up for whatever they were going to do, what mission.
Mhm.
I will say when you deal with specifically just men, mostly men, everything is a much more direct response. So if you're talking to a mixed culture of men and women in specific work settings, that's different. Then you would
Very.
focus on that empowerment. If you're talking about specific mission driven or just male driven, totally different response, totally way to educate or constructively criticize.
Oh my God. All right. So I need this. Like I will tell you that I'm a man that needs this. He needs some help. So this is probably the greatest opportunity. So I can deliver powerful feedback. I can inspire a room of men, but getting a combination of both male and female on the same page for somebody that is trying to do that with my authority, my authoritarian background, like how would I do that? How would I connect two different minds to the same outcome?
Well, I'd have to hear exactly what your outcome was. And then I can develop a customized communication strategy for you.
Okay, we're moving. We're in a mission right now. We need to
Right?
cross this objective. It's about one click out. It's about 1,000 meters. We have to hike through these woods and get to this ridge line, and that from there, we'll silhouette ourselves over the ridge, and we can see this little fob that we're supposed to close in and hit with indirect fire. So we only have 20 minutes to get across. How do I tell everybody to move their ass without hurting their feelings?
I did tell you I have 3 boys, and my background is actually I have a sports background. And I say feelings aren't your friends all the time to my business owners. Feelings aren't your friends when you need to get shit done. Okay. End of story. That's what it really comes down to. Stepping back though, if you are the leader and you have a mixed team, understanding that women, it depends on where they're at. You need to understand what's their big mofa. What's their big, I just want to say the word, what's your big motivating factor? If you know that she's motivated by this, you're going to remind her of that. And as a good leader, you know what anchors your people into motivating them to move for the mission. As a good leader, you know your teammates, you know your team well. You know what will remind them, what anchors them in to motivate them to fulfill the mission. So with that being said, you can initiate that trigger, that memory very quickly. If you know your team is mostly men, then it's going to be an easy, like, fulfill the mission. Fulfill the mission. And if you know they're big mofas, then you remind them. Sometimes it's just an anchor to duty. Sometimes it's an anchor to what's on the other side. Sometimes it's that self-actualization. That they can do this, that they have to fulfill this commitment to themselves or to their team, or maybe it's like, okay, we get to go home after this. You have to know what anchors people into their biggest motivation to get something done.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now we're going to wrap up here. I would like to give you the floor and let you talk about your book, how our audience can get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me at bridgethom.me. If you are seeking direction and you want to find it for business growth, sales, branding, marketing strategies, or you just need to get your headspace, you need to hire and fire the right mental team for personal development and honoring your roles and your goals, then we can talk. It's just bridgethom.me. You can find me at my website, bridgethom.com. And then my book is called Stuck on Ready. And you'll appreciate this, Gregory, because it takes too long to get ready in life. So you need to be stuck on ready to take imperfect action to get massive results. And the book is a book to do and to implement for your business growth. It's not just a book to read. So you can get it for free, plus shipping, at stuckonready.com.
Beautiful. I like that. MOFA.
That's good. That's why I said it.
Yeah, that's going to stick. I like that. Did you feel like you got everything you wanted to get in?
Yeah. I just
Cool.
actually, there's one thing I always say, and I want to encourage anyone listening. Every single day to become intentional, make your number one goal to show up well and authentically, regardless of anything else. And make your number two goal to empower the person in front of you, no matter what. That's it.
Hua. That's what we would say. And the Army says hua. I think the Marines say hoorah. And then I don't know what the other ones say.
Yes.
But no, I do I appreciate you coming on today. And I apologize. My attention span is just off the wall. I've been grinding like crazy for the last 24 hours. Yeah.
You don't have to hire resentment or regret on your mental team because of me.
No, God, no. No,
No,
but
you were great. You showed up well and authentically. Listen, we're having a human experience. People don't
yes.
want to see perfect. Perfect doesn't exist.
Ooh. But then what I want is I want the world to get the standard. I want every interaction to have that same standard, just like your company represents the identity of that standard. Well, that I need to represent that identity of that standard in every action that I display with deliberate intent and authenticity. And if I'm not putting myself first by maintaining my time, awareness of what needs to be important, sleep, eat, water, bathroom, gym, read, if I'm not doing all of that, then I'm not giving out my best self. Then people will start to wonder, what is wrong here? Like what you're saying is not in line with what you're doing. Are you authentic or inauthentic? Or are you a narcissist?
Or are you just a beautiful mess like we all are? And I just say self-validate your success at the end of each day. We only have
Mm,
24 hours anyway. At the end of each day, find something to self-validate your success about, regardless of anything. Sometimes it's just like, I got all the laundry done. Okay,
mhm.
having that's an accomplishment. That's a mission. Sometimes I got to serve more people today. Sometimes I've signed up new clients. Um, Sometimes it's that I got through the day and I was able to get everything on my to-do list accomplished. Or sometimes it's that I was just grateful today. I got on my knees and I said my prayers in the morning. I acknowledged God was my employer.
I
Sometimes I
like that.
food on the table. It's literally always about self-validating your success because the rest of the world will tell you how to sabotage yourself. And you don't have to.
Well, damn. I will email you everything once it's done. I will give you links on links and I'll give you that to you in the next 48, 72 hours.
I'll splice it
Yes.
and put it everywhere, sprinkle it everywhere.
Thank you. That would be wonderful. Yes. This is a great conversation, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me to have it.
Hmm.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Very welcome.
Yes, I appreciate you.
Okay, that's awkward. It's hard to feel appreciation. It's like it's like a weird thing. You ask every like guy in the military, how does it feel when people tell you that they appreciate your service? Oh, it's good.
It's so deep it's such a you because it's like when I say thank you for your service, you feel everything that you've done in your service on a sub
Yes.
level, and that's why it's hard to accept because it pulls in and together, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's
Holy
could be.
shit. Yeah, you helped me articulate that. Like I needed that.
Yes, that's what I do. That's why people work with that's we all have our different gifts as coaches, but that's one of mine. I can see people, that's why I can pull people through trauma and trials, and I can see where they want to get to, and then I can help them articulate it.
Because you're an empath?
Well, I guess that you would call me that.
Yeah.
I just have the gifts of discernment and exhortation
Oh,
and evangelism.
that makes sense. I think we've learned that in whatever experience that we took in to provide us as a safety net to thrive, but we don't need that anymore.
No, no. Safety nets are just an illusion anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Boom.
Yes. Wake up, Greg. We have a lot to do. I have
All right.
another.
You
Yes,
have another
ma'am.
you have
I
another
have
one?
in 5 minutes.
Okay, go for it. Go take care of
Yes, ma'am.
yourself. I'll talk
Okay.
to you.
Yes, ma'am.